questions? Whenever you're ready, fire away. Bob, this is obviously very nice that Ohio State. Bad start with you. Could you imagine this being done for 17 to CIU?
Well, you know, when Tony called me about this, I thought, you know, this has got to be something really unique, what they're doing. And I said, I doubt if there's, I don't think, at least that I know of, any school in the country that does this for people that have graduated, this, rather than while they were in school. So I thought it was just a neat thing, period.
Well, sir, thank you very much for your time. Would you accept it if Indiana wanted to do it?
Probably not.
So one more question. Once, a long time ago, here with Indiana playing the Buckeyes, Coach Hayes was in a wheelchair. And I was very touched by the respect you showed him by having him speak to your team. What did you expect him to be able to tell your players?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I'd been in a hassle down in Puerto Rico in the Pan American Games. It got all, you know, certainly not you people, but other people in your profession made a mess out of it. And so Bill, who was the broadcaster in the Big Ten then? Bill. No, who was the broadcaster in the Big? God, Bill, that did the football games. Well, anyhow, Parsegian was doing the color. He'd gotten out of coaching, and so.
Bill Mallory?
No, Mallory coached.
Yeah.
And anyhow, the deal with Woody. Parsegian interviewed me at the half of a game between Indiana and Nebraska, and really set everything straight on the deal in the Pan American Games. And Parsegian was great. He's one of my all-time favorite people. And they asked me to see if I could get Woody to go on with them the next Saturday. And I tried, but he wouldn't do it. And I wanted him to, just to explain, you know, the deal in the Gator Bowl, but I did, when we came over here to play then, I did get him to come eat breakfast with me, and I think it was the first time he'd been out in public after that, and all people just kept coming up to him and wishing him well and everything. It was really good.
Did your players know what he was all about?
The players?
Yeah.
Well,
they were awfully young when he was coaching.
Well, our players, though, weren't involved in this at all. I mean,
all I'm saying is, did they know who Woody Hayes was?
Oh, sure, they knew who Woody was. I mean, kids that are involved in sport in the Big Ten had to know who the hell Woody was. And my dilemma there was always that my best friend in the Big Ten was Schembechler, and I his probably. And so I'd taken Woody's class. Havlicek and I took Woody's class when we were here, class in coaching, and we enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed Woody. I liked him. I think he always told our team, when I had him speak to our team, and this was kind of classical of Woody, he would say, "Boys," he said, "now I really root for you and your coach, but I'm not doing it tonight." He said, "I always root for the Buckeyes," but he said, other than that, he said, "I root for," you know, which was pretty neat. And I think that our kids had they had heard about Woody, and I think they had a real appreciation when he came in. The last time I had him do it, he actually came in a wheelchair. But I'd had him speak to that team almost every time we came over here. But he always told the team that he was rooting for the Buckeyes.
What do you remember about being a student at Ohio State? And what kind of sticks out about that time of your life?
Well, I think like it's a great place to go to school. I mean, I really didn't give any thought when I had a chance to come down here to go to school. I didn't give any thought to going anywhere else, and I enjoyed the time I was here. I think that coming from here, if you've done reasonably well academically, is really a good thing. I remember I changed my major midway through to a major in history. Now, I'm not sure what the hell I was going to do with a major in history, but I kind of figured that I would coach and teach, and really when I went to Cuyahoga Falls to teach that first year out of school, having been here and having majored in history, there were no questions asked whatsoever about after I had applied for the job and talked to him. I was hired right on the spot with that.
Yeah, Urban Meyer was talking about your guys' relationship earlier this week.
Speak a little louder.
Urban Meyer was talking about your guys' relationship earlier this week and how you spoke to his team while he was at Florida. Just wondering how that relationship came about.
Well, he called me and asked me, I follow sports, and Urban called me and asked me to come down and speak to his team. And I did and enjoyed that, and I hope those kids enjoyed it. And I've done that when coaches have asked me to do that.
How did your time here at Ohio State help prepare you just for all the coaching experiences that came after?
Well, I think the thing that prepared me or helped me from a coaching standpoint was playing here. You know, we had a really good freshman coach in Frank Truitt, and in fact, we beat the varsity twice when we were freshmen, and it was the first coaching job I ever did. We had won pretty easily on a Saturday, and Coach Taylor didn't let anybody come in, and we beat the varsity, beat them fairly easily, and we're going to play them again on Monday. And Coach Taylor wasn't real happy about the freshmen beating the varsity, although we've got Lucas, and it was made things a little easier for us. But I can remember saying before we went out on the floor in St. John's, I said, now let me tell you guys something. Coach Taylor's mad as hell, and there ain't going to be any fouls called in this game. I said, this is going to be brutal. And so the first time we beat the varsity, that was with Joe Roberts and Dick Furry, and Siegfried was playing then on the varsity. And anyhow, the next time it wasn't going to be easy. And the first time we played, everybody on our freshman team got to play. And so the second time, only the 5 of us that were starters on the freshman team got to play the second time. Because we were down till the very end of the game, and we beat them again. And so I think being able to start out as a freshman with a coach like Frank Truitt, and then to watch Coach Taylor, and then see how Coach Taylor did things, and then eventually playing under him, I couldn't have had a better experience going into coaching than that. Now, it just wasn't being at Ohio State, but that was with the coaches that were here, and the way they did things and the way they prepared. I mean, I think I was the only, when I graduated, I was the only guy off the team going into teaching or coaching, I think.
You're in just about every Hall of Fame there is. Is it still special, though, for something?
Well, this is really special. To me, first of all, it was a special idea. I don't know whether any other university in the country has that same kind of category that they devised for this. This is as special to me as anything that's ever been done on my behalf for coaching. I think it's, if I wasn't even involved in this, I'd say this is a great thing for a university to recognize people that have, maintained a liking for the university. I've tried to help anytime anybody's asked me to do something, to say something or talk or whatever. I mentioned it tonight. When I was coaching in the Big Ten, I didn't like losing, and I didn't like losing here any more than anywhere else. However, I didn't like winning here either. You know, I didn't like that. I always lost when we came here, when Coach Taylor was coaching. Now after that, I didn't mind winning here. That didn't bother me nearly as much as when we would win. But I wasn't. I wasn't happy because they beat us either when he was coaching. It was a hard thing. I think that was the hardest thing I had to deal with in coaching, was when he was still coaching.
How do you think your coaching style is contrasts with the coaches here today and, you know, Urban Meyer?
I don't know. I don't worry about coaches today. You know, I had a way that I went about it, and what I did. In fact, I wrote a book that's going to come out from Amazon sometime in the spring called "The Power of Negative Thinking to Bring About Positive Results," and that's how I coached. You know, if I asked myself, I said, how can we get beat Saturday? You know, how can Ohio State beat us? Well, that's not positive thinking, you know. But I was always thought from a negative standpoint. You know, how can we lose? All right, if we can get rid of the reasons why we're going to lose, there's only one other thing that we can do. And so I think that was probably a little bit. I was never a clap your hands guy and say, okay, boys, damn, we played really well tonight. You know, I might say that kind of quietly and say, but let's start thinking about the next game. I had a little thing that I called last game, next game. And I would take, let's say we're winning a game by 15 points and there's a minute left in the game. I would have all of our starters out of the game, and I would be sitting there telling them who they were going to guard in the next game. So, as I said, I was never a positive thinking guy. Like, I hated cliches. Like, don't worry, the sun's going to shine brighter tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a lot hotter tomorrow, that's all. You know, Susie, come here and let Mommy give that scratch a kiss. God damn, Mommy better have iodine on her tongue, because that kiss ain't going to do any good. So that was always kind of my approach, was not positive, you know, it was negative. I would talk to our players when they played well and when we were playing well. But I might go in at the halftime and say, hey, that's been a hell of a 20 minutes. Now let's see if we can duplicate it in the second half. Forget that half. Here's what we've got to do the second half.
Coach, I think this came up a time or two maybe when Andy Geiger was here. Did you ever envision being the head coach here? Did you hope that might be the case?
I don't know. There were times when actually Woody called me, and it was like kind of like the Sermon on the Mount. Woody called me and he said, I just wanted you to know that we had a vote this morning. I've even forgotten why the job was open at that point. The football staff had a vote this morning and we voted unanimously on you coming here. Well, that was nice. You know, I was tickled that Woody thought that way, because he gave me a B in his course. So he told, Coach Taylor asked him, he said, how are my boys doing? Well, it was Havlicek and me. And he said, how are my two boys doing? And Woody said, one of them gets an A because he never cut class. The other one didn't get out of bed a couple of mornings in time, and he gets a B. I was the one that didn't get out of morning a couple of times. He didn't get out.
Got time for a couple more? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.